Nora Miao flexed both arms on live television and said the 5 words that almost ended her career. I am better than Bruce. 20 million people watching. Johnny Carson sitting 3 feet away with his pencil frozen mid-air. The studio band stopped playing. A cameraman whispered to another cameraman, "Did she just—" And the other one nodded slowly, already knowing this footage would never be forgotten. October 1973. The Tonight Show. NBC Burbank. Nora was supposed to promote a film. That was it. Smile. Talk about Hong Kong cinema. Maybe demonstrate a fighting stance for laughs. Go home. Simple. Professional. Forgettable. Instead, she went off script. Completely, shamelessly off script. On national television. Against Bruce Lee, who was sitting backstage, who had not been consulted, who did not approve this message. Nora, Johnny said, recovering just barely. When you say better, you mean... I mean better, faster, stronger, more skilled, more disciplined, better. She flexed again. The lavender chipao strained against shoulders that, frankly, had no business being that defined on an actress in 1973. Look at these. You think Bruce has arms like this? Please. Johnny laughed. The audience laughed, but it was that nervous laughter, the kind that happens when people are not sure if they are watching comedy or someone ruining their own career on purpose and enjoying it. Bruce is talented, Nora continued, sitting back down, crossing her legs, completely unbothered. I would never deny that. He is talented. Good martial artist. Very good, actually. Top 5. Maybe top 3 in Hong Kong. But not number 1, Johnny asked. Johnny? She looked at him like he had asked if water was wet. Who do you think trained harder? Who do you think spent more hours? Who do you think actually committed fully while Bruce was busy being famous, being on magazine covers, being a movie star? Me. I was in the gym. I was on the mat. I was working while he was posing. The audience murmured. This was not a bit. This was not rehearsed banter. Nora Miao genuinely believed she could outwork Bruce Lee, and she was saying it out loud on his night, on his show appearance, 20 minutes before he was scheduled to walk out and sit in the same chair she was warming. A production assistant backstage turned to another. Does Bruce know she's saying this? No. Should we tell him? Would you want to be the person who tells Bruce Lee that his co-star just called him second best on national television? Silence. Nobody moved. In his dressing room, 40 feet from the stage, Bruce Lee sat quietly, reviewing notes, adjusting his collar, completely unaware that Nora Miao had just said the most disrespectful thing possible about him on national television and looked perfectly happy about it. He would find out soon. The whole country already knew. He did not. That gap was about to close. Bruce Lee was doing breathing exercises when the world started falling apart around him. Inhale, 4 counts. Hold, 4 counts. Exhale, 4 counts. The same ritual before every appearance, every demonstration, every moment when the public version of Bruce Lee needed to be perfect, controlled, precise. A machine built from discipline and philosophy and decades of work that most people could not survive for a week. His dressing room was quiet. A cup of tea on the table, untouched. 2 note cards with talking points. One said, philosophy of water. The other said, demonstrate 1-inch punch if asked. Simple. Professional. Bruce Lee did not wing it. Bruce Lee did not improvise. Bruce Lee came prepared and left legendary. That was the formula. That was always the formula. Then the door opened. A production assistant stood there. Young kid. Maybe 22. Holding a clipboard like a shield. Sweating in places humans should not sweat indoors. Mr. Lee? Yes? So, there's a situation. Bruce looked up. Calm. Patient. What kind of situation? The other guest, Ms. Miao. She's on stage right now, and the kid swallowed hard. She said she's better than you. On air, to Johnny, in front of everyone. Bruce blinked. Once. Twice. His expression did not change. Better than me at what? Fighting. Martial arts. Everything, basically. She flexed her arms and said, "You don't have muscles like hers." She said she trained harder than you, said you were top 3, maybe top 5, but not number 1. Said that while you were being famous, she was working. Bruce stared at him. The kid looked like he wanted the floor to open and swallow him into whatever merciful void existed beneath NBC Studios. "She flexed?" Bruce asked. "Yes, sir. Both arms. On camera." "In the Chipao?" "Yes, sir." Something happened on Bruce Lee's face that the production assistant would describe to his friends for the next 30 years. It was not anger. It was not shock. It was not offense. It was amusement. Pure, genuine, or unfiltered amusement. The corner of his mouth lifted. His eyes narrowed. He looked like a man who had just been handed a gift he did not expect and was deciding how to unwrap it. "How did the audience react?" Bruce asked. "They laughed. Nervously. Then they got quiet. Then they laughed again. Nobody knows if she's joking. She doesn't seem like she's joking. She seems very serious." She flexed twice. 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 Bruce stood, slowly, adjusted his black mandarin collar jacket, looked at himself in the mirror, smiled. Not a warm smile. Not a cruel smile. Something in between. Something that said a decision had been made, and the decision was going to be entertaining for exactly one person in that building. "When do I go on?" he asked. 8 minutes. "Good." Bruce picked up his tea, took a sip, set it back down. "That is enough time." The kid waited. "Enough time for what, Mr. Lee?" Bruce looked at him. "To decide how generous I am feeling tonight." The production assistant left that room faster than he had entered it. Something about Bruce Lee's calm was more terrifying than any anger could have been. Back on stage, Nora Miao was not slowing down. She was accelerating, like a car with no brakes heading toward a cliff and somehow enjoying the view. "Let me explain something, Johnny." She leaned forward, finger raised, teacher-to-student energy radiating off her in waves. People think Bruce Lee is untouchable, unbeatable, some kind of god walking around in a tracksuit. But I have worked with him. I have seen him up close. I know what he can do, and I know what he cannot do. "And what can't he do?" Johnny asked, leaning in, fully committed now. Whatever was happening here, it was television gold, and he knew it. "Keep up with me," the audience gasped. Actually gasped. A woman in the 3rd row grabbed her husband's arm. A man in the back row whispered, "She's dead," to nobody in particular. "Nora," Johnny said carefully, "Bruce Lee is considered by many to be the greatest martial artist alive. You understand that, right? This isn't some local karate instructor you're challenging. This is Bruce Lee. I know who he is, Johnny. I've been in 4 films with him. I've watched him train. I've watched him eat. I've watched him stretch for 45 minutes before doing anything. You know what I do. I show up, and I'm ready. No rituals, no philosophy speeches, no water metaphors, just work." Johnny's eyebrows climbed his forehead. "You don't like the water metaphors?" "Johnny, if one more person tells me to be like water, I will be like fire and burn something down." She smiled sweetly. The audience exploded. Laughter. Real laughter. The kind that comes when someone says something so outrageous and so confident that the brain has no choice but to find it funny. "So, you genuinely believe," Johnny pressed, "that in a real confrontation, you could beat him?" "Yes." No hesitation. No blinking. No hint of performance. I have faster hands. I have better conditioning. I have technique he hasn't seen because he's never taken me seriously as a martial artist. He sees me as an actress, as his co-star, as the woman who stands behind him in posters. That's his mistake. That's always been his mistake. A producer in the control room picked up a phone. Is Lee watching this? Does he have a monitor in there? No monitor, but someone told him. What did he say? Nothing. He smiled. Oh, God. Back on stage, Johnny checked his notes, looked at the clock. 4 minutes until Bruce's introduction. 4 minutes until these two people were sitting next to each other on national television after one of them just declared war. Nora, Bruce is joining us in a few minutes. You know that, right? Of course I know. And you're comfortable with everything you just said, knowing he'll be sitting right there? Nora smiled, adjusted her hair, crossed her legs the other direction. Johnny, I said it because he'll be sitting right there. What's the point of being better than someone if you can't say it to their face? Johnny looked at the camera. That look. The one he gave when something was beyond his control, and he wanted America to know he was just along for the ride now. The look that said, I am not responsible for what happens next. The band played a short transitional piece. The audience murmured, buzzed, vibrated with anticipation. Something was coming. Everyone could feel it. Behind the curtain, Bruce Lee straightened his jacket one final time, took one breath, and waited for his name. Our next guest, Johnny announced, is a martial artist, philosopher, actor, and star of Enter the Dragon. The man who made Kung Fu a household word in America. Please welcome Bruce Lee. The band played. The curtain parted, and Bruce Lee walked out like a man who had absolutely nothing to worry about. Calm, relaxed, smiling, waving to the audience like he was arriving at a friend's dinner party, not walking into a trap that 20 million people had watched being set for the last 15 minutes. The applause was massive, bigger than Nora's, noticeably bigger. The audience knew what was coming. They had watched Nora talk. They had heard every claim. Now the man she was talking about was here, and everyone wanted to see what happened next. Bruce sat down, right next to Nora, close enough that their elbows could touch. He turned to her and smiled, warm, friendly, like nothing had happened. Nora, good to see you. Bruce, she smiled back, steady, unshaken. Glad you could make it. Wouldn't miss it. Johnny watched them like a man sitting between two people holding matches near gasoline. He cleared his throat. Bruce, welcome. So, I have to ask. Did you happen to hear any of what Nora was sharing with us before you came out? Bruce leaned back, crossed one leg over the other, took his time. The audience held its breath. I heard some of it, Bruce said. Someone was kind enough to update me. And? Johnny pressed. And what? Well, Nora made some bold statements about you, about her abilities compared to yours, about muscles. Johnny gestured vaguely at Nora's arms. She flexed, Bruce. Twice. The audience laughed. Bruce nodded slowly, looking at Nora with an expression that was impossible to read. Not angry, not amused, not bothered. Something else entirely. Something patient. Nora, Bruce said, turning to her directly, you told 20 million people you were better than me? I did. At martial arts. At everything. Everything. Bruce repeated the word like he was tasting it. That is a big claim. I'm a big person. You are 5'3". The audience lost it. Laughter rolled through the studio in waves. Nora's eyes narrowed, but her smile stayed. She was not backing down. Not even slightly. Size has nothing to do with it, she said. You taught me that, actually. Isn't that your whole philosophy? The smaller person can defeat the larger one through skill and technique. Well, I have skill. I have technique. And apparently I have better arms. She flexed again. Third time tonight. The audience cheered. Bruce watched her flex, or looked at her arms, looked at the audience, looked at Johnny, then back at Nora. Those are very nice arms, Bruce said quietly. Thank you. But arms do not fight, Nora. The whole body fights. The mind fights. The spirit fights. Arms are just arms. The room went quiet. Something shifted. Bruce was not joking anymore. Let me ask you something, Nora. Bruce's voice stayed level, but the room felt different now. Heavier. If you believe what you said, truly believe it, would you be willing to demonstrate? Nora blinked. First time all night she did not have an immediate answer ready. Demonstrate, she asked. Yes, here, now, on this stage, in front of everyone who heard you make that claim. Show them. Show me. Prove that what you said is not just words. Johnny sat up straight. His hand went flat on the desk. Bruce, I don't think we can... Nothing dangerous, Bruce said, not looking away from Nora. A simple test. Speed. Reaction. Technique. Something small that tells the truth about training. Something that cannot be faked, cannot be exaggerated, cannot be hidden behind confidence and flexing. The audience murmured. This was happening. This was actually happening on live television. Bruce Lee had just asked Nora Miao to back up her words with action right here, right now. No preparation, no choreography, no second chances. Nora straightened in her chair. Her jaw tightened. 20 million people watching. She had two choices, accept and risk being embarrassed, refuse and confirm she was all talk. Neither option was comfortable, but Nora Miao was not a comfortable woman. What kind of test? She asked. Simple. Bruce held up his hand, palm open, facing her. Hit my hand, any time you want. No warning needed. Whenever you are ready, try to make contact with my palm. I will not move until you move. You have every advantage. Speed, timing, surprise. All yours. Johnny looked at his producer in the wings. The producer shrugged. What was he supposed to do? Stop Bruce Lee? Tell him no? Nobody tells Bruce Lee no on his own segment. That's it? Nora asked. Just hit your hand. Just hit my hand. And what are you going to do? Move it. Before you reach it. Nora laughed. Short, sharp. You think you can move your hand before I can reach it? It's 8 inches away, Bruce. 7, he corrected. 7 inches. You think your reaction is faster than my strike across 7 inches? I do not think it. I know it. But you said you are better than me. So this should be easy for you. You should be able to hit a hand 7 inches away. If you are what you say you are, this is nothing. This is beneath you. That landed. Bruce had taken her own words and turned them into a trap. If she refused, she admitted the claims were empty. If she accepted and failed, everyone watching would see it. Live. Unedited. Real. Nora looked at Bruce's open palm, looked at the audience, looked at Johnny, who was gripping his pencil like a man holding on to the last piece of normal television he might ever experience. Fine, she said. Fine. Hold your hand up. Keep it still. I'll show you fast. Bruce smiled. Not mean. Not mocking. Almost proud, like a teacher whose student had just agreed to learn something important. Whenever you're ready, Nora. Nora struck fast. Genuinely fast. Her right hand shot toward Bruce's open palm with speed that surprised everyone in that studio, including Johnny, including the cameraman, including the audience members who had already decided she was bluffing. She was not bluffing about the training. That much was clear immediately. Her technique was sharp, her form was clean, her hand moved with genuine intent. It hit nothing. Bruce's palm was gone, moved, pulled back, and repositioned 6 inches to the left before Nora's fingers reached where it had been. No effort, no strain, no dramatic motion. Just gone, like it was never there. The audience gasped. Nora stared at her own hand, hanging in the air where Bruce's palm used to be. Empty space. Again? Bruce asked. Polite, calm. Again, Nora said, sharper now. Bruce put his palm back. Same position, same distance. 7 inches. Open, relaxed, waiting. Nora adjusted, changed her angle. This time she went faster, feinted left, struck right. A smart approach, a trained approach, something that would work on most people in most situations. Bruce's hand vanished again. Same result. Same effortless withdrawal. Nora's hand grabbed air. That's 2, Johnny said from behind his desk, narrating like a boxing commentator who could not believe his own assignment tonight. I wasn't ready, Nora said. You literally said, again, Johnny replied. The audience laughed. Nora did not. Once more, she said to Bruce. Her voice had changed. The playful confidence from earlier was still there, but something else was underneath it now, something that was starting to do math, starting to recalculate. Bruce put his hand up a third time. Take your time. No rush. Whenever feels right. Nora waited. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. The studio was silent. 20 million people watching a woman stare at an open hand, trying to figure out the timing, trying to find the gap, trying to solve a problem that thousands of people had tried to solve before her across 3 decades of Bruce Lee's training. She struck. Fastest one yet. Committed fully. Every muscle engaged. Bruce caught her wrist. Did not pull away this time. Caught it. Mid-air. His fingers wrapped around her wrist gently, stopping her forward motion completely, holding her hand in space, like he was accepting a gift being handed to him. The audience went silent, then erupted. Nora looked at her wrist in Bruce's hand, looked at his face. He was not gloating. He was not smiling cruelly. He looked like a man making a point without needing to explain it. You are fast, Nora, Bruce said quietly, still holding her wrist. Genuinely fast. Trained. Disciplined. I respect that. But fast and fastest are not the same thing. Good and best are not the same word. He released her hand, gently, respectfully. Nora pulled her arm back. The studio was still applauding. She sat there, processing. And 20 million people had just watched her try 3 times and fail 3 times. That proves nothing, she said. But her voice was quieter now. It proves one thing, Bruce said. What? That claims need evidence, and evidence does not lie. The applause faded. The studio settled. Johnny reached for his coffee mug, took a sip, probably wishing it was something stronger. Everyone expected Nora to laugh it off. Congratulate Bruce. Move on. Play it cool. Accept the loss gracefully. Nora did not do that. You want to know why I said it? Nora's voice cut through the quiet. Not angry, not embarrassed, something else. Something real underneath all the flexing and the bravado and the showmanship. You want to know why I came on this show and said those things about you? Bruce looked at her. The playfulness left his face. He could hear something different in her voice now. Everyone could. Tell me, he said, because nobody asks me. Nora's hands were in her lap now, no flexing, no posing, just sitting. 4 films together, Bruce. 4. I trained for every single one. Not actress training, real training, hours every day, conditioning, technique, forms, sparring, real work, and at the end of every production, you know what the interviewers ask me? What? What is it like to stand next to Bruce Lee? What does Bruce eat for breakfast? Is Bruce really that fast? Does Bruce really fight like that? Bruce? She looked at him directly. Nobody has ever once asked me what I can do, what I trained for, what I sacrificed. 4 films, Bruce. I am in those fight scenes too. Those are my kicks, my blocks, my choreography. But I do not exist in those conversations. I am just the woman next to Bruce Lee. The studio was completely silent. Johnny had set his pencil down. The audience was not laughing anymore. So yes, Nora continued, I came here tonight and said something outrageous. Something I knew would get attention. Something that would make people look at me, actually look at me, instead of through me to find you. Was it true? Is it accurate that I'm better than you? She paused. Probably not. You just proved that. 3 times. In front of everyone. But at least tonight, for the first time in 4 films and 6 years, people are talking about Nora Miao. Not about the woman standing next to Bruce Lee, about me. Bruce did not respond immediately. He sat with it. Let her words stay in the room. Let the audience hear them fully. Let the weight of what she had just admitted settle over all of it. The bravado, the flexing, the claims, all of it suddenly reframed. Nora, Bruce said finally, you are right. She looked up, surprised. That was not what she expected. I am right. You are right that you deserve recognition. He paused. But you are wrong about one thing. What? That this was the only way to get it. You did not need to tear me down to build yourself up. You could have just shown them who you are. I tried that, Bruce, for 6 years. Nobody watched. They are watching now. Because I said your name, not mine, yours. That landed. On Bruce. On the audience. On everyone. Bruce stood up. On live television. 20 million people watching. He stood up from his chair, stepped forward, and turned to face the audience directly. I want to do something, he said. Johnny, if you will allow me. Johnny spread his hands. Bruce, at this point, I'm just a passenger on this show. Go ahead. Nora. Bruce turned to her, extended his hand. Stand up. She looked at his hand, suspicious, cautious. 10 minutes ago he had caught her wrist mid-strike. Now he was offering the same hand openly. She did not know what this was. Why? She asked. Because I want you to show them something. Show them what? What you can do. Not compared to me, not against me, just you, your skill, your training, your 6 years of work that nobody asked about. He kept his hand out. Show them, Nora, right now. This stage, this audience, this moment. It is yours. Nora stared at him. The audience was silent. Johnny was leaning forward on both elbows. A cameraman slowly zoomed in on Nora's face, catching the exact moment her expression changed from suspicion to understanding. You're serious, she said. Completely. She took his hand, stood up. They faced each other in the open space between the chairs and Johnny's desk. The stage was small for 2 martial artists, but it was enough. It was more than enough. Show them a form, Bruce said, the one you trained for Way of the Dragon. The sequence you choreographed yourself, the one the director cut from the final film. Nora's eyes widened. You remember that? I remember you rehearsing it for 3 weeks. I remember telling the director to keep it. I remember being ignored. I remember you never getting to perform it for anyone. You argued for it? I argued for it. She did not know that. Clearly, she did not know that. Something shifted in her face. Something small, but real. Show them, Bruce said, stepping back, giving her the floor. 20 million people, Nora, all watching you, not because you said my name, because I said yours. Nora stood alone in the center of the stage, took a breath, settled her weight. The lavender chipao was not designed for this, but she did not care. She had trained in worse. She had trained in everything. She moved, fast, clean, precise. A Wing Chun form that flowed into something more fluid, more personal, more her. Strikes, blocks, transitions, footwork that covered the small space with efficiency and grace. 15 seconds of uninterrupted technique that showed everyone watching exactly what 6 years of serious training looks like when given a chance to breathe. The audience did not wait for her to finish. The applause started halfway through. By the time she settled back into stillness, hands at her sides, breathing controlled, the entire studio was on its feet. Standing ovation. For Nora Miao. Not because of Bruce Lee, because of what she just did. What she just showed them. What was always there, waiting for someone to make room for it. Johnny stood up behind his desk, clapping, genuinely impressed. That, he said into the microphone, is what this show is for. The show ended 12 minutes later. Johnny asked a few more questions. Light-hearted ones. Safe ones. The kind of questions you ask when the real moment has already happened and everything else is just filling time until the credits roll. Bruce and Nora sat next to each other for those 12 minutes. Comfortable. The tension from earlier was gone. Not erased, not forgotten, but resolved. Replaced by something simpler. Two people who understood each other slightly better than they had an hour ago. The cameras switched off. The studio lights dimmed. The audience filed out, buzzing, talking, replaying what they had just seen. 20 million viewers at home did the same thing. Phone lines across America were busy that night, people calling each other. Did you see The Tonight Show? Did you see what she said? Did you see what he did? Did you see her move? Backstage, Bruce and Nora walked toward their dressing rooms. Same hallway. Same direction. Side by side now, not on opposite ends of the building. You planned that, Bruce said. Not a question. Planned what? All of it. The claims, the flexing, the provocation. You knew I would respond. You knew it would become a moment. You engineered this entire evening. Nora smiled, did not deny it, did not confirm it, just smiled. You wanted a platform, Bruce continued. You knew being controversial would get you on the show. You knew challenging me would keep the cameras focused. And you knew that if I'm the person I say I am, I would eventually give you the space to show what you actually came to show. That's a lot of assumptions, Bruce. Am I wrong? She walked a few more steps, stopped outside her dressing room door, turned to face him. You're not wrong about the result, she said. Whether I planned it or just got lucky, does it matter? People saw me tonight. Actually saw me. For the first time in 6 years, and you helped make that happen, whether I tricked you into it or you chose it yourself. Bruce nodded slowly. You are more dangerous than I thought, Nora. I told you. Better than Bruce Lee. He laughed. Real laughter. The kind that happens when someone genuinely surprises you and you respect them for it. Good night, Nora. Good night, Bruce. She disappeared into her dressing room. Bruce stood in the hallway for a moment, alone. Quiet. Thinking. The next morning, every newspaper in America ran the story. Not Bruce Lee on The Tonight Show, Nora Miao on The Tonight Show. Her name first, his name second. For the first time in their entire professional relationship, she was the headline and he was the context. It lasted one news cycle, maybe two. Then the world moved on, because the world always moves on. But Nora Miao proved something that night that had nothing to do with martial arts, nothing to do with speed or strength, or who could hit whose hand. She proved that sometimes the only way to be seen is to make it impossible for people to look away. And if that means saying something ridiculous on national television and flexing in a lavender dress, then that is what it takes. That is what she did. And 20 million people watched her do it. Nobody forgot.